What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got a new Transformers spoiler to talk about. It has been a while, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a while since we had a new Transformers spoiler, but now we have one. And it's one that, it's Novastorm. I don't think we've had a Novastorm yet. Do correct me if I'm wrong about that. But we're finally getting a Novastorm, and there's a lot to like about this. Now, first thing off the bat, it is a Decepticon plane that costs 7 stars. And we like this, ladies and gentlemen. There are far, far too many of the good Decepticon planes that are more than 7 stars. So getting a decent one at 7 stars could open up a few options for us. I really like Starscream Air Commander. When you flip it into alt mode, you do damage to an enemy equal to the number of other planes you have, but that's sitting there rocking 11 stars, so that does not give you a huge amount else to use there. I really like Slipstream. Slipstream's pretty good, but that's an 8 star. It's also a convention exclusive. Less said about that, the better, ladies and gentlemen. I really like Thundercracker Mac Warrior, but you're sitting there at an 8 star character. It's fairly expensive. So being 7 stars can be pretty good. Of course, we did get Acid Storm back in Wave 2 that was a 6 star and stops your opponent using Bold. But it wasn't particularly good outside of that. It was nice as a Silver Bullet to Bold decks, but outside of that, it was, I think, fine is probably the way I would put it. And if we have a look at the stats here, stats are alright. Health of 12 is about what we would expect from an 8 star, so that's good. Attack of 3 or 5, 3 is fine, 5 is good. 5 attack on a 7 star character is high. Now we don't like the defense, 1 or 0, but you can't have it all. Health of 12 will help to mitigate the poor defense a little bit. But remember, if you're ever worried about really low defense, maybe you kind of take advantage of this. You use Erratic Lightning that gives you +3 attack, -1 defense. But if you got no defense to begin with, it will mitigate your first blue flip though, which is a little bit sad. It is also a plane and a range character. We'll get to all that in a moment. But what are the skills like here? Well, they both revolve around having a black upgrade. That is to say, an upgrade of at least 1 black pip. So in bot mode, if you've got a black upgrade, you get Pierce free. Pierce free guarantees that you do free damage, and you've got an attack of 5, so you are guaranteeing free damage. If you were to combine this with something like a Piercing Blaster, for instance, then you'd be up to Pierce 6 with an attack of 5, so you need to raise your attack by 1 in order to actually get the full pierce. Otherwise, despite having Pierce 6, you'd only actually do 5 damage. But Pierce 3 right off the bat is very, very good. For a moderately cheap character with decent health, being able to rock Pierce 3 is lovely. And let's not forget that in order for this skill to work, you've got to have an upgrade with a black icon on Raider Novastorm. So it's probably fair to assume at this stage that you're going to be playing more than 1 black icon upgrade. So you're probably going to be building a little bit of a Pierce deck to take full advantage of this. And that means that you're actually going to be flipping more black icons as you go. So you'll probably get up to Pierce 4, Pierce 5 to go with your 5 attack, and then you're going to be loving it. If we flick into alt mode, lose 2 attack, gain 1 defense. But if you've got a black upgrade and you flip to this mode, you move 1 damage counter from this to an enemy. Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, we're liking this an awful lot better. This is really, really good. Now, you've got 12 health, which, as I keep saying, is quite nice. But this basically means that if you can keep flipping back and forth, you can keep just moving the damage over. Now, the sad thing is, planes do not have one of those flip 'em all cards, like Hunker Down for tanks or Start Your Engines for cars. But you can still use Rollout if you wish. You've still got Rapid Conversion, so there are still options for getting extra flips rolling here. But you're moving a damage counter. which means that you are putting 1 more damage on your opponent while essentially repairing 1 damage from yourself. No, it's not going to be some phenomenal game-changing skill every game, but it is going to make the difference in some games. It's going to be that 1 damage that you need to not get KO'd, or that 1 damage that you need to get a KO. And of course, it combos really nicely here with Bombing Run. Bombing Run is an action. You choose an enemy character, you move 1 damage counter from each of your planes to that enemy. Well, that's going to be beautiful, because now you're moving 2 damage counters off. What you could do here, if you are feeling kind of frisky, play a Photon Bomb, do 2 damage to each character, but then use Bombing Run to move 1 off of all of them, and then flip this into ult mode to move the other 1 off, and then actually you've not taken any damage onto this from Bombing Run. Not sure that'll work all the time, but it's a fun little combo. But really the question here is, well, which upgrades do we have? Let's go through them, shall we? The one we've got that definitely won't work is Compact Shield. It is an upgrade armor, but you only put it on Autobots. This ain't no Autobot. Maybe there'll be a mechanic in the future which allows you to turn an Autobot into a Decepticon and vice versa. I'm thinking utility cards. It's going to happen eventually. It's definitely going to happen eventually, assuming the game lasts long enough. But it's not happening now. But we do have one for Decepticon onlys. It is HV Electron Breacher, and gives you +2 attack, which is fine. It's not phenomenal. It's fine. It's alright. Push you up to 7 attack and 3 pierce, so you're really going to need to get a bit more pierce to make the most of this, but it's nice to boost your attack a little bit. We've got Metal Detector, an upgrade utility. When you attack, you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's an upgrade, you may play it. Now, this also has a green icon, so there are 2 reasons I love this card with Novastorm here. Number 1, it's got a green icon, so at the end of a battle, if you flip it, you can put it in your hand, swapping it with another card. That's really good. Means you're going to actually be able to find it, which is really, really good. And secondly, you're going to be playing a bunch of black icons on upgrades to try and get this rolling, so this might give you extra upgrades during the game. The other one I really like here is RR Disruptor Blade. It's like Heavy Electron Breacher, but taken a step further. It gives you +3 attack, but when you attack and you don't flip a black icon, you scrap this card after the battle. So what I'm thinking here is that you put RR Disruptor Blade on, you go for a really black deck, you end up with 8 attack, 3 pierce, except you're actually trying to flip at least 2 black icons per battle, per attack. So now you're rocking with Pierce 5, maybe more. And now I am absolutely loving it. But you can only use this if you're going heavy black icons. We got Smoke Thrower, which just gives you bold 2, flip 2 more battle cards, try and flick some more black icons, and get a bit more pierce going on. Or maybe orange icons and build your attack. Combat Dagger has an orange and a black icon, and it just gives you bold 1. Smoke Thrower gives you more bold, but this has an orange icon as well. We've got Erratic Energy Grenade. Now, I like this a lot. At the start of your turn, you do 1 damage to the upgraded character, and when it is KO'd, you do 2 damage to each enemy. As we're going to see in a minute, planes are pretty good at cheeky damage. And also here, or range characters at least are, planes are not bad. You can heal the 1 off or repair it, or actually you're not really repairing it, you're moving it. So you take 1 damage Erratic Energy Grenade, but you can move it off quite easily. Well, you can move it off anyway. Point Defense System is an armor that if the upgraded character is defending against Pierce, you reduce it by 2, which ironically will be a good counter for this. And Smoke Cloak gives you a black and a blue icon and gives you Tough 1. They're your options, ladies and gentlemen. Personally, I like RR Disruptor Blade if you're going full Pierce or full black icon, and I do like Metal Detector here as well. Now, you are a ranged character, so you can get a little bit of cheeky damage going on. We can use a bit of the old marksmanship, because you're ranged in both modes. Just deal 2 damage to someone in bot mode. We've also got Armed Hovercraft here. When you attach it, you deal 1 damage to each enemy. but it doesn't have a black icon, so you can't substitute a black icon weapon for this. And of course, being a plane, you've got that bombing run card that I mentioned earlier. Plus we've got those couple of characters, Starscream and Thundercracker, which are really quite nice at putting a bit of cheeky damage onto your opponent's characters. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I like this character. 7 stars is low. The stats are quite good. You've really got to be dedicated to a largely black deck. It's not going to work all on everything, yeah? You can't just put this into any deck. But if you're willing to put a bit of investment into this to try and get the skills rolling, this could help a lot. But I would like to know what you think about this, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Me nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk about Transformers and other games. And do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio if you fancy supporting the channel, getting some bonus podcasts, etc. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.